Alright, we want to deal with today as much as we can emotional reasoning. I think one time we had a discussion, and when we deal with emotional reasoning, we deal with our feelings rather than the facts. It's a feeling. It does not mean that it is so, but it's just the way you feel. But I realize that the feelings are real. When people say I feel you, I can relate to you, and so forth and so on. It's just a feeling. But this definition says when you let your feelings guide your interpretation of reality. For example, I feel depressed. Therefore, if one who is married, he feels as though that it's not working out. Say for example, I feel depressed. I feel as though whatever, this situation that I'm in, it's not working out. I feel depressed. I feel down. But how do you determine if you feel down? If it's just a feeling, is it a fact? Brother William, I think you probably can answer this. When you feel it's like, for example, you may feel as though that you don't want to be here. Is that considered to be a feeling or fact? And how do you distinguish that?
Take one day at a time.
Okay. Take one day at a time. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a process. So that means that you're processing everything that is happening in your life or everything that is going on. You're processing it.
Yeah.
One day at a time. Because sooner or later, the way that you feel, you realize that that's just for the feeling. You know what I'm saying? But then you realize that the facts start kicking in, and then you start seeing this here, what is called some positive results. Because I think that's what we want. We want some positive results. We don't want no results that are considered to be negative. We want positive results. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So, in the manner and way in which we interact with our feelings, for example, if we're dealing with what I call systematic abuse, right? If you've been systematically abused over a certain period of time, say for example, if we take 100% and we say 70% of the 100% of the time, you have been systematically abused, right? Yeah. So that leaves 30%, right? Yeah, right? Chilling. Think about that, right?
Chilling.
70 out of 100%, 70% of the time. Can you go right there for a minute now, please? Cool. Thank you. Yeah. If it's you got 100%, and 70% of the time you've been abused, systematic abuse. When I mean abuse, I mean it's like a dehumanization process when you really don't feel good about yourself. You start to feel down. You start to feel depressed. You're dealing with anxiety. You know what I'm saying? 70% of the times you've been abused, and it leaves 30%. That means it's hard to make up for this. To get to this, it's hard to make up this the 70% to get to the 100%. It's hard to make up. So that means you gotta make up how much? How much is this, Frank? You gotta make up 30%.
70?
70?
Yeah.
70 you gotta make up to get to the what?
100.
To the 100. So that you can feel like 100% good about your what? About yourself. Rather than the 70% of the time of feeling bad about yourself. So you said the process of doing is taking it at what? One day at a what? One day at a time. Now, the thing is though, in dealing with this depression, we say we're still dealing with feelings. Feelings are real. Don't get me wrong. It's an emotion. It's real. But the thing is, if you got too much emotion and not no logic, then therefore you can realize that there is unbalance there, and that's an unbalance. So what we want to do is have the balance. You know, and say here, what's the man say, 50-50 love, but some say it's 100% love. But the key to it all is the balance. So not to feel down on yourself, you know? Not to run yourself down. You know what I'm saying? Not to keep saying that I'm depressed. This is not going to work. This is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? We got to change that. So we got to make up for this 70. Yeah, we got to make up for this 70%. In one way, as he said, take it one day at a time. And I said, stop running yourself down. Stop tearing yourself down. Stop thinking negatively all the time. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you do it all the time, but stop thinking negatively and think more positively about yourself, about your situation, about your circumstances, where you want to go, what you want to do, and how you want to go about accomplishing it. Now, how you interpret, this reality is not based on your feelings. It's based on facts. So in the business world, they say you got to do a cost-benefit analysis. You look at the good rather than the bad. You look at the positive rather than the negative. And then when you look at the positive rather than the negative, what you're doing is you're starting to work things out because you're starting to see realistic, tangible results. You're starting to see realistic, tangible results. What are the results that you probably have seen while you've been here, Frank?
Well, the results.
Yes,
what?
the positive results that you've seen while you've been here.
Well, it keeps me on schedule and in a disciplined way of behavior.
That's a positive result.
Yeah.
That's a fact, right?
Mm-hmm.
That had nothing to do with your feelings, really. You know what I'm saying? Not your emotions.
Right.
That's a fact. What about you, Mr. Wynn?
What's that?
What are some of the positive results you could say by you being here? Because
I don't know. I can't answer that.
See, that's it. See, now that's another good. And what is he doing? He's being what? Honest. You know what I'm saying? That's healthy. Honesty is healthy. What about you, Natalie? What are some of the positive results that you got since you've been here?
I learned a lot.
So you learned a lot. So that's positive, right?
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, though, if we deal with this here, if we say the 70-30 or what have you, but the challenge is we want to see positive results rather than negative results. That's what we want to see. We want to see positive rather than negative. And even though we're trying to make up for the 70%, but at least we're trying to make up for it. We're trying to push for it. We're doing our best trying to overcome being so systematically abused, or even to a point that we systematically start abusing ourselves. We're just trying to make up for it the best way we can. So we need to be in an environment that is conducive for us to push us to a point that we can make up for that which we are lacking when it comes to being being systematically abused. We must be in an environment that is conducive for it, and better yet, we must change the attitude in the way that we think. That helps. The way we think about ourselves, the way we think about the world. And one thing too, I realized this. Let me get this napkin here. I need it. When it comes to change of attitude, I realize this. That's about change. Change is a product of human effort. Read my writing, because it's sharp, it's going short. Change is a product of human effort. That means you putting forth the effort to change. It is an effort that you put forth, man, in order for change. Now, if people have lived a life that has not been structured or ordered properly, they must push forth to change that, so that their life can be put in order, that they can live a structured, disciplined life, and not be emotionally guided or by your feelings. Because I realize too, I want a cheap thrill, but many times, we become emotionally guided by our feelings. And our feelings get the best of us, man. They call it sensationalism. We know that the media does that. We look at TV, everything is sensationalism to get you stirred up, to get you riled up. But who's benefiting from that? Those who put out that propaganda. For example, Frank, you may do things like when you go in your room, you listen to the
radio.
To the radio, you know what I'm saying? The 24-hour news talk show, right? Because what it does is it stimulates you, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because all you're doing is trying to make up for the 70%.
Mm-hmm.
It helps, don't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So what you do also, you participate in activity that is stimulating you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's another way to do it. Participate or listen to things that stimulate your intellect, that stimulate your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I have nothing against any types of music, but for the most part, some of the music ain't designed to stimulate you. Some of the sound, the vibration is so low, it keeps you at a low level. It keeps you thinking at a low level, and all they're doing is still making you to go on your what? On your feelings, man. You be guided by your feelings. That's a cycle that many has to break. But listen, who can break it? Who can break it? You.
Mm-hmm.
It's on you. No one can do it for you. Someone can. And there's an old saying, you can take the horse to the trough, but you can't make him what?
Drink.
Can't make him drink. That's on you, man. It's on you. So, we're talking about looking for positive result as opposed to negative results, if that's a word, if that's the way I could phrase it. But we want to tap into the positive, because the prefix of the word positive is to have access to, which means we want a constant flow of activity, meaningful, purposeful, driven, meaningful activity in our lives that creates a currency. And a currency is electricity. It's an electrical shock that gets you going, that gets you moving, gets you up, driven, get up in the morning to be driven, to achieve a goal or aspirations or a dream or a desire, whatever it is. I feel kind of, maybe it's not good for me to say this, and I don't want to be in those situations. I can't imagine if a person is unable to move all of a sudden, all he wants to do is just move his finger, huh? But he was driven, he was motivated to push him or herself that he can move his finger. And that's progress. That's progress. So we have to build on the progress of just the little things, as you say, one day at a time, one moment at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 hour at a time. To be purpose driven. So, remember, change is a product of human effort. You got to put forth the effort. And I say that effort must be synthesized, which means you must see yourself as being useful rather than seeing yourself as being useless. You must see yourself as being hopeful rather than hopeless. You must see yourself as being helpful rather than what? Helpless. We have to change that thinking. We have to make a mental shift, so to speak. And I would like to say we move from victim to being victorious. Moving from victim to being victorious. So yes, change is a product of human effort. As we deal with emotional reasons, not letting our feelings guide our interpretation of reality, and overcoming anxiety attacks, animosity, and being depressed. We get up in the morning and we feel a certain kind of way, but it's just our feelings. So we got to keep our feelings and our emotions in check. We have to, man. It's a very challenging thing. But if you believe you can do it. But you have to believe that you can. And you will do it. What got you up in the morning? Did you feel like getting up in the morning?
Yeah.
Some people don't.
I did.
See?
I know.
You see what I'm saying? But there was something that pushed you though. Now, let me tell you something. See, everybody being honest, right? Say, for example, you got to attend meetings, right? So we know that there are some consequences. There will be some consequences of not attending the meeting. Just like there are some consequences if you don't want to get up and do something and live a meaningful, productive life. There are consequences for that. Say, example, if there's consequences in one life, even if a guy who creates a crime, there are consequences in his life. If that's the way he want to live his life, there's some consequences in that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we all have to face the consequences, what we do, whether good or bad. But we want to get to a point in our life where it's that no one has to force us, or there is nothing that has to mandate us to do that. We know that it is something that will benefit me. So therefore, something that has benefited me, that will serve as an asset to me, that would help me, then therefore I am driven and I have a purposeful and meaningful life because it adds to my life, adds to my benefit, adds to my asset, for lack of words, and therefore I am driven and I'm determined to make sure that I get up and do what I have to do. Now, look at this here. Many get up to get a cup of coffee, get up, take the medicine, we get up to smoke a cigarette. Is that helping you? You say, yeah, but does it help your body?
No.
Huh? So what needs to be changed? Not something that helps, because God will for lack of words, forgive you what you do to you, or forgive you, but your body won't forgive you what you do to your body. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm trying to say is that we need, as Frank was to say, something stimulating. We need something to get up that jolts our mind, that jolts our thinking, that we get out of our what? Out of our feelings, man. Out of our feelings. Something that just jolts your mind, you know, something that can stimulate you mentally rather than emotionally. So you push forward. You push forward. And you made it. You were here. Biologically, how we got here. Somebody had to push forward for you to get here. Coming out of our mama's womb. You know. It was a pushing forward. It was a determination to get here on this plane of existence. Now, what are we going to do while we're here? Because, let me tell you, let's be quite honest with you. When you are unproductive or something is unproductive, or you see a building that is abandoned and vacant, it's called a condemned building, right? They condemn it. When they condemn it, that means it is of no use. They destroy it. But when people come into your life, they give you meaning in life. They ain't condemning you. Other people may have condemned you. And you may start to condemn yourself. But when someone comes to your life to assist you, they're trying to help you. They're not condemning you. They're trying to help you. One of the strangest things to me, if you in a hole and somebody throw a rope down there and you won't grab the rope, they're trying to pull you up. But yet, you may not want that person, you know, the one that may not want to take the rope from that particular person. So you wait for somebody else to come. So you stay down that hole a little more longer. You know what I'm saying? and you don't know what's going to happen while you're staying down there home a little more longer. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is in our thinking. When we stay in a certain mindset for a certain amount of time, we don't know. Worse things start coming in our mind, and thinking and thoughts and attitudes start coming in our minds. And it becomes even more difficult to make up the 70%. Huh?
Yeah.
So yes, it is necessary for us not to allow our feelings to guide our interpretation of reality. But let the facts do that. How do you calculate the unknown? By first calculating that which is known. It's called mathematics. So I say, and I must say, that when it comes to overcoming distorted thinking, emotional reasoning, and not letting our feelings guide our interpretations of reality, when it comes to being systematically abused and making up for the percentage from 100% of being a systematic abuse, 70%, at least 30%, to make up for it, is as take some of your points, and Frank points, and Nigel points. You say you take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
He said, be honest. He was honest about, really not wanting to, maybe to say, be here. Honest. You got to be honest. You got to be honest with your situation. You got to be honest with yourself. Because if you think that you are going to delude others, you wind up deluding yourself. It's going to catch up with you. It's going to catch up with you. And you said something, Frank, too. What'd you say? Because I want to add yours, too. Oh, yeah, what you use to deal with this distorted thinking, emotional reason, I let you be guided by your feelings, to guide your interpretation, is that you use things to stimulate your mind by the radio.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Or the book.
Or the book, right.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Those are two things. So what I'm trying to say to you all in this lesson, which was a very beautiful lesson, only because that you all are coming up with formulas for yourselves. All I'm doing is facilitating it. That's all. That's all I'm doing is facilitating. I mean, I'm trying to do my best to create an environment to push you to come up with your own formula, how you are able to deal with and overcome, allowing your feelings to guide your interpretation about reality. You all came up with it one day at a time. He be honest with himself. Honest about this. He's just being honest. And here you said books in the talk show, something that stimulates your mind. Be honest with yourself. Use what you just said, Frank, to build on it. And Mr. William, you do the same, reference to what you just said. Because remember, we want to get positive results as opposed to negative action or negative results. We want positive results. When we deal with positive results, we deal with the facts rather than the feelings. Because when we deal with the feelings, we start to get depressed. We lose energy. We lose hope. We deal with anxiety attacks. We vacillate up and down. We develop animosity. We get to a point where we start even hating ourselves. So just think positive. Don't beat yourself down. Lift yourself up, because when you get up in the morning, you lift yourself up every day. Other than that, any questions, comments, challenges, or concerns?
No.
No, it's pretty complete.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Session over. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
Oh man. Oh boy.